The biggest question I get is, when do you rest? When do you recover? I don't want to scare people, but the truth answer is, I don't take any days off.
Stop for a second and imagine you're walking down the street. Someone runs past you, lean, strong, absolutely shredded, not a hint of fatigue in his eyes. You look closer. He looks like he's in his early 30s, max. But what if I told you, with absolute certainty, that this man is actually 50 years old? That's not science fiction. That's David Goggins, the guy who's broken every expectation about human performance, discipline, and yes, even aging. This is the same David Goggins who went from an overweight, struggling pest control worker to Navy SEAL, ultramarathon runner, pull-up world record holder, and best-selling author. Now, at 50, he still moves, looks, and lives like a man half his age. But how does he do it? Is it genetics, a secret supplement, or some elite medical team? The answer is simpler and more powerful. It's the 5 ironclad rules he's lived by for decades. And just when you think you've heard it all, there's a revelation about Goggins waiting at the end of this video, something even his biggest fans don't know. So stick around, because this story isn't just about Goggins. It's about unlocking the version of yourself you didn't know was possible. Rule number 1, master your mindset. If you want to understand Goggins, you have to start with his mind. Most people see adversity as something to avoid, not Goggins. From a childhood marked by trauma, poverty, and relentless bullying, he realized early that the biggest battle was inside his own head. He often says, "You are in danger of living a life so comfortable and soft that you will die without ever realizing your true potential." His transformation started when he stopped seeing himself as a victim and decided to use every negative experience as fuel. He faced his fears directly. If something terrified him, he'd run toward it, not away. This wasn't a one-time decision. It was a practice, a daily commitment. Whether it was waking up in darkness to run in the freezing cold, facing public humiliation, or enduring grueling SEAL training, Goggins learned to rewire his brain. Instead of asking, "Why me?" he started asking, "What can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger?" Even today, when most men his age are coasting into comfort, Goggins is still finding new battles, mentally and physically, because he believes that's the key to staying young and powerful. Rule number 2, push through pain. Let's get one thing straight. David Goggins does not shy away from pain. In fact, he seeks it out. While most people see pain as a stop sign, Goggins treats it like a green light. That's why his story is filled with moments that sound almost impossible. Remember when he ran his first 100-mile race with barely any preparation? His feet were broken, toenails falling off, kidneys on the verge of failing. Anyone else would have quit, but not Goggins. He sees pain as a test, a doorway to greater strength. He's explained it this way: most people quit at 40% of their true capacity. He believes that every single time you feel like stopping, you've actually got a hidden reservoir of energy, willpower, and grit left to tap into. This approach isn't just physical, it's mental too. Goggins puts himself in uncomfortable situations on purpose: ice baths, brutal workouts, lonely training runs, and even tackling public speaking, which once terrified him. Every act of pushing through pain and discomfort, he says, makes you not just tougher, but younger, because you never stop growing. Rule number 3, no excuses, only action. Excuses are the enemy. For most people, making excuses becomes a lifelong habit, especially as they get older. "I'm too old, it's too late, my body just can't do it anymore." Goggins hates excuses. He's lived by one rule: own your situation completely. When he decided to become a Navy SEAL, he was nearly 300 pounds, eating donuts and milkshakes every night, stuck in a cycle of negativity. Instead of saying, "I can't," he asked, "How can I?" So he set a jaw-dropping goal: lose over 100 pounds in less than 3 months to qualify for SEAL training. That meant hours in the gym every day, radical dietary changes, and absolutely 0 days off. He didn't wait for motivation. He created it through relentless action. Today, at 50, Goggins still never uses age as an excuse. He's outworking people half his age, showing that action, not words, not intentions, separates those who grow younger from those who grow old. Be honest, how often do you let excuses dictate your day? What would happen if for just 1 month you refused to let any excuse stop you? Imagine where you could be, physically, mentally, even emotionally, if you approached life with the same radical accountability as Goggins. Rule number 4, maintain daily discipline. If there's one thing that keeps Goggins looking and performing like a man half his age, it's his daily discipline. He doesn't believe in motivation. As he says, motivation is crap. Motivation comes and goes. When you're driven, whatever is in front of you will get destroyed. Goggins' day usually starts around 4:30 a.m. While the world is sleeping, he's already running, sometimes for hours. He follows up with stretching, strength work, and meticulous routines that might bore most people but are the foundation of his youthfulness and power. He logs his workouts in detail, tracks his progress, and never allows himself to coast. Even his recovery, ice baths, sleep, nutrition, is strategic and consistent. This isn't obsession, it's self-respect. When most 50-year-olds talk about taking it easy, Goggins is sharpening the sword, because discipline, he says, is the real fountain of youth. Rule number 5, constantly challenge yourself. Complacency is the enemy of growth. Goggins has made it his life's mission to chase discomfort. Whether it's signing up for another ultramarathon, challenging himself to break a pull-up world record, or learning new skills, he's always setting the bar higher. He believes that the moment you stop challenging yourself, you start aging. That's why he says, stay hard. It's a reminder not to accept mediocrity or settle for less. At 50, he's still searching for new frontiers to test himself. Proof that challenge keeps you mentally and physically young. Goggins' diet, what he refuses to eat. You can't look and perform like Goggins at 50 if your diet isn't dialed in. Over the years, he's learned which foods slow him down, and he avoids them like the plague. First off, Goggins stays far away from processed sugar. No candy, soda, or pastries. He knows sugar spikes your energy and crashes your system, causing inflammation and accelerating aging. Fast food, not a chance. Greasy burgers and fries don't fuel greatness. He's also mindful of refined carbs. Instead of white bread or pasta, he chooses complex carbs, quinoa, brown rice, oats that give sustained energy for his brutal workouts. Alcohol is another no-go. Goggins has said he can't afford anything that wrecks his sleep or blurs his focus, especially as he gets older. He focuses on lean proteins, chicken, turkey, fish, lots of vegetables, healthy fats like avocado and nuts, and drinks tons of water. Everything is chosen for a purpose, fueling performance, aiding recovery, and keeping his body young. Even his cheat meals are strategic, never indulgent, always measured. Goggins' daily lifestyle routine. So what does a day in the life of a 50-year-old who looks 30 actually look like? It's intense, but there's a method to the madness. Early wake-up. Goggins is up before sunrise. His morning usually starts with a long, fasted run, sometimes 10, 15, even 20 miles depending on his goals. Post-run routine. After his run, he stretches, sometimes for over an hour. He credits this with keeping his body injury-free and mobile. Strength training. Goggins lifts weights multiple times a week, focusing on compound movements and bodyweight exercises. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats. Always pushing to failure, always chasing progress. Fuel and hydrate. Meals are clean and purposeful. Lean protein, greens, complex carbs, healthy fats, and lots of water. No guesswork. Mindset work. He meditates or sits quietly every day, reflecting on his goals and challenges. Visualization is key. He often sees himself conquering challenges before he even starts. Recovery. Sleep is sacred. He ensures 7 to 8 hours a night, no exceptions. He'll use ice baths, massage, or simple rest days when needed, listening to his body, but never using comfort as an excuse to slack off. Constant learning. Evenings often include reading or journaling. Goggins is obsessed with self-improvement, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. This lifestyle isn't for everyone, but it's a blueprint for why Goggins is breaking aging's rules. Now remember how I promised there's something about Goggins that will blow your mind? Here it is, and it's something even his toughest critics admire. At age 50, David Goggins isn't winding down. He recently announced his plans to take on the most brutal endurance challenge of his life, an event so grueling, even elite athletes in their 20s have failed. His mission, not just to finish, but to set a new record. When asked why, Goggins just smiled and said, "Because the only real limit is the one you set in your mind. I'm not done, I'm just getting started." So, what's stopping you? If David Goggins can transform himself at 50, looking and performing better than ever, Imagine what you could do with even a fraction of his discipline. Drop a comment below. Which Goggins rule speaks to you the most? Which one are you going to adopt starting today? Share your commitment and let's inspire each other. If you found value in this story, subscribe for more real-life examples of human greatness. Stay hard, stay disciplined, and remember, age is just a number. The real game is played in your mind.